You know, we just saw the video of Dr. Wentz. Yeah, I do have a laser. There he is. He is everything that you think he is. When I was with him in Sana Vive, when he said that it was acceptable to him that I become the Chief Scientific Officer, I was able to experience what you saw in that video firsthand. Dr. Wentz really did not have to create USANA. He did not have to create Sana Vive. He was wealthy, and as an immunologist, he was a world-renowned immunologist. People like me look up to people like him. And he did all of what he did for USANA because he believes that all of us should have our healthiest lives. It is a great honor that he has trusted USANA science to me, and I will always be very thankful for that and do everything I can to make him proud. So you have up here myself, obviously Dr. Wentz, Dr. Tim Wood, and Dr. Rob Sennett. So there is your history of how R&D has moved at USANA. So some things have changed. I'm standing here, but many things have stayed the same. So Dr. Wentz said that he recognized many years ago that optimal cellular nutrition is the key to maintaining long-term health. I talked about this on stage. I talked about how staying healthy is about making many small healthy choices. I talked about how Dr. Wentz understands that health is something that requires us to make hard choices and to do hard things. I don't like to get up early in the morning. I did not do the fun run. I should have done the fun run. Now I will have to do a run later every day because I feel guilty. So I did not make a healthy choice. I slept instead. But those healthy choices, partnered with the nutritional supplementation that we offer, is how we are working to really support his vision. So this has not changed. It has not changed, and it will never change. He also talks a lot about how delivering a product to you only matters if we deliver it through the highest quality. And our CEO, Jim Brown, also talks about this. And Jim says that our manufacturing capability is a differentiator. It sets us apart. So who in here was able to do the manufacturing tour? Okay, I wish all of you were able to see it. It is incredible. So within my organization, I obviously have research and science and product development, but I also have all of quality. So I work closely with Ron Camp, who's our Executive Vice President over the manufacturing facilities, and he works closely with my team and quality. And our commitment to quality comes directly from Dr. Wentz's vision. So when Ivy asks me, what makes USANA different? That makes us different. We are still committed to living Dr. Wentz's legacy every day. I believe in integrity. I believe in honesty. I believe in collaboration. I believe in hugs. I hug everybody. I would not stand on a stage before you and represent a company I did not believe in. Just like you would never sell a product that you did not trust and believe in, I would not be up here if I was not committed to Dr. Wentz's vision. I know Dave Bagley feels the same way. I know Jim Brown feels the same way. I know Jeannie and Rochelle and all of us. We could do the whole row. We all are so committed. Tammy wonders why I took her. That is different. So when we talk about why USANA is different, we are committed to quality and to science, but there's more than that. We're committed to being global. So when you think about where we operate in the world, we're in 25 different markets. What power does that give us? How does that make us better for all of you? There is a lot of joy and a lot of pain in working in 25 markets. Every single government thinks differently. Every regulatory body, every quality body, all of those governments think very differently. So has anyone in here ever had to go to like a government facility to get a driver's license, to get an ID, to get a passport? We've all done this, right? We've all had to go. Imagine doing that in 25 markets for every single product that you have. We are always waiting and talking and negotiating. But the part of that that gives us strength as to why USANA is able to do better than others is we know what all of these different governments think and why. Some of it is really grounded in science, and therefore we are able to understand how different populations experience different environmental stresses and different sort of cultural implications for the supplementation they need. So when you look at this 25 markets, the power that gives is we are able to understand what you need, and we understand what the globe needs. So an example of this, if you think about the launches and the relaunches we did here, you notice that in some markets we've added PQQ, and in some markets we've added astaxanthin to our Cell Essentials. That's because we understand how all 25 markets, in terms of science and regulatory, what they need for their citizens and what is happening in those exact markets. Think about how much research we have to read. That's impressive. The other thing that's really incredible about that is our facility in China. So this is the facility at Baby Care. This is in Beijing. I skipped over the Salt Lake one because you all just saw this, I hope. But 50 of my scientists work in Beijing in this building. So when we think about the Beijing team and then the Salt Lake-based team, what power does that give us to be different for you? Baby Care is a part of my organization. Research, development, quality, regulatory, research, science, clinicals in Beijing all report to me. We are one team. I have been to Beijing 3 times this year. I'll be back in October. I am very interested in how we take the incredible historic knowledge from our Beijing team, all of the things of TCM, not just ingredients, but preparation and intention. How do we understand the wisdom that comes out of the most ancient approaches to health and nutrition and blend those with the things that we have learned within the last 100 years? How do we do that? Well, we have multiple PhDs in the Beijing office. We also have partnerships. So we work with different universities, with different health groups, different councils and government bodies to understand what is going on in China and how is that evolving and how do we export the wisdom of China into our other markets. When we talk about doing scientific and clinical research, I think oftentimes it sounds like we're only doing research in the US. And I apologize if it has ever sounded that way from USANA. It has never been true. We do clinical studies and research studies that are relevant for all of the populations we serve. We know that we must do that. In fact, when we talked about the 25 markets earlier, many government bodies require that we do research with individuals that are of the ethnic population we're serving. So there is no way for us to shortcut that, and we would never want to. When we do clinical research, we are looking at how this, behaves differently in different people. When we think about the 150 incredible people on my team, I love these guys. They are scientists, they are devoted, but we are only 150 people. We will never have the smartest people across the world all working for us. It's not possible, right? There's no way that all of the intellect of the world will be at one company. So how do you manage that? That is why you do partnerships with universities and you do partnerships with companies so that you are able to really get out there and work with the smartest minds around the world. So an example that we could talk about is how we collaborate with all of these different groups. We can talk about how we don't just collaborate with people that are chemists or nutritional scientists. We also need to collaborate with people that understand behavioral science, people that understand community building, all of these different aspects of health that we know are important. We collaborate with individuals from a wide variety of backgrounds, people who are good at writing nutritional content, people who can help inspire you to want to change. This is a commitment that we've made to all of our markets. I recognize and I rejoice in the fact that we have such a strong Chinese representation across our USANA family globally. There is infinite history and practice use of a lot of different things that we are able to gain through working with different researchers who have that TCM and that historical background. So I know many of you have wondered about our scientific studies that are more relevant to TCM practices. Ivy has told me there's questions about how we're blending this. You hear that we talk about TCM, but where's the evidence? So on the wall, I've listed some of the research that we've been doing on TCM-related studies. When we think about the different body constitutions, and we think about how we can understand holistically health and how we impact it, we're looking at things like how we understand, cold frequency, right? Which is something that for the 9 body constitutes in TCM is very relevant and is discussed less in Western medicine. So we're working to understand how those all go together. Another example, of course, is our partnership. We have been working with Beijing University of Chinese Medicine. We have worked with them for about 3 years. We still have an ongoing project with them right now. We are also currently expanding partnerships with other health-related institutions in China. It's one of the reasons I'll be back in October. I cannot tell you more about who just yet, but we are working on that. And I hear you say, well, what are you doing with BUCM? Well, this is very small font, but this is what we're doing with BUCM. So the projects are shown on the left, and then what outcomes we've had. So these are completed projects. I'm letting everyone take their pictures. No selfies with this? Selfies?
Can we have the slides?
Ivy? They want to know if they can get the slides. So Josh Focus is the head of legal. I will say that Josh will have to decide that, but you can certainly take a picture of it. You guys all have it? Someone has a good photo they can WeChat to everybody else? Did you guys see when I was in China for Nanjing kickoff? And there were videos of myself and Peter. And I looked China serious, and they did China hair. And I had to stand like this. Thank you for all of that, guys. So beyond the research, when we think about the USANA difference, we've talked a lot about our quality and manufacturing. You also have heard us talk about materials, and I want to talk about why that's important. I'm very aware of the challenges that we have seen in China around safety and quality of the ingredients that may find themselves in different food products or coming in contact with food products. And I think that's about as far as I can say that without risk. I understand how that has affected our Chinese friends, like all of you, in terms of concerns around safety and quality. I remember those days. I have 4 kids. I understand concerns about what I'm putting in my children's bodies. We test every single ingredient that comes into our facility. Every one. When you think about something like Cell Essentials, by the time that bottle was sold here at convention, that formula will have undergone literally over 1,000 tests. Every ingredient that goes in that bottle is tested. We look for purity and potency. So how does that work? When materials are sent to USANA, we actually put them in a separate area. They are not allowed to enter into the rest of the manufacturing facility. We call it a quarantine. They sit there, and we look at all of the documents that have come from the supplier, and we check to make sure they match exactly what we have ordered. And then we take samples from those materials, all while it is still in quarantine. And we test it to make sure all of the paperwork is real. If we get a result that is confusing or doesn't line up, it will stay in quarantine. We will test it externally. If we cannot confirm it is exactly the ingredient it is supposed to be, at the concentration it is supposed to be, we will not allow it into the main warehouse. It will leave. You know, if Ron Camp were here, the EVP, Executive Vice President of Operations, he would tell you that is one of our most frustrating points. Can you imagine we're getting ready to make vitamins and we have the ingredients we need and they are on the property, but the quality team says, no, you cannot use these. We have to wait 3 more days for all of the microbiology testing to come back. We are committed to this. It often is very hard. The desire to put it into production and get you product quickly, if we don't have the material that we know is valid, we won't do it. You can ask Jeannie. Jeannie has said many times, like, we need more. And we work really hard to get it to you, but we have to make sure every ingredient is exactly what we said. And I know Jeannie's behind that as well. It is a lot of work, but it is our commitment to you. So I mentioned that if we have something arrive and we don't get results that we were expecting, we will send a third party. We also do a lot of third testing, particularly when it is something that is new or it is something that is closely tied to safety. We take safety very seriously. You know, I have 4 children. One of them is sitting over there. He's waving. Stand up, you're very small. Jump up and down. Jump. Third-party testing is a way for us to ensure that what we're doing is always correct. It's a way for us to check ourselves, right? I want to have my team send out for third-party tests because if we have ever forgotten something, we want to catch it. Because when I am giving supplements to myself, I know that I have to protect him. And when we are giving them to you, I know that you are protecting your family. So third-party testing enables us a way to really make sure that what we're saying is true. And it's also good to just do it every now and then to make sure that we haven't, become lazy in any steps. So just like working in 25 markets means a lot of different government bodies, it also means a lot of different quality audit bodies. I am very thankful for all of the groups on the board. They provide us a lot of work. They come into our facilities. They look at every piece of paper. They look at every ingredient. They ask us so many questions. It is like an exam every time they come. And because we are in so many markets, we have exams from so many quality groups. We learn something new every time. Sometimes a quality audit makes convention feel easy. We work around the clock to ensure that we are meeting requirements. So obviously we have the CFDA. The CFDA audits us. They audit both of our facilities in Tianjin as well as in Beijing. We also have clearly US regulatory bodies. And all of these are groups that we uphold to their standards. So when we think about Cell Essentials, how does all of this become real in a product? Well, I've talked to you about the fact that we do 1,000 tests. You know about cell signaling and intelligence. You know about all of the different pathways that we are impacting. But the question I hear from you is, everyone says that there's healthy cell. This isn't different anymore. It used to be, but it's not. I hear that question from you. I respectfully disagree. We are the antioxidant company. We were first. Dr. Wentz made this his vision. We understand how cells talk to each other, and that's really important because the messages that your body sends, the way your body is able to become stronger and more resilient, that is what our technology is focused on. I know a lot of people talk about, how do I make you have more health? We talk about, how does every single cell in your body become healthier? Dr. Wentz understood that every cell had to be at its optimal health in order for your whole body to be at its optimal health. That is not the same as me saying, I want you to just feel better. We are looking at every single pathway on here. We are designing products with very specific ingredients at very specific levels. And you have seen me stand on stage and say we have updated this product consistently over the 20 years. We will keep doing that because every time we find a new pathway that we need to impact, every time we need to find an ingredient that should be changed, every time we find that there is a format that we should do differently, we will upgrade our product. That is what is different about us. We keep pushing forward. And so I know a lot of people are talking about health. We're talking about it in Dr. Wentz's vision. With that, I am going to bring up Dave Bagley.